All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Week number 15, Monday Night Football. 2 Monday Night Football games this week. In this video, we got the Raiders taking on the Falcons. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. We also posted the Vikings and the Bears Monday Night Football game video as its own video, so make sure to go ahead and check that out. I'll put that in the pinned comment to link over there. But yeah, everything we go through in this video will be stuff that I like. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment. That'll take you to the Guy Boston Sports site for all of my final plays. So I'm actually rolling with myself, absolutely free. So make sure to keep an eye on that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And let's jump into this one. Raiders taking on the Falcons. Admittedly, I don't think I like this matchup or this game as much as the other one, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be in that same boat. You got the 2-11 Raiders here at home. They're 1-4 at home up against the 6-7 Falcons, who are 3-3 on the road. This Falcons team, 4 straight losses. Now, I guess I'm going to make a little bit of a defense there. They played Minnesota, the Chargers, Denver, all decently good defenses, right? So we'll get into that in a second. But they did also lose to New Orleans, in 4 weeks ago. So that's not exactly the best look. But you have the Raiders, on the other hand, that have now amounted 9 straight losses. So 2 teams that just are not firing in all cylinders as of right now. In fact, if we jump into the dashboard here, if you guys want access to this, just become a YouTube member here. I think it's $2.99 per month. So super, super cheap. You get a lot of cool tools for all of your NBA, NFL, and obviously when other sports are going on, picks research. But let's take a peek at this. Season long, Atlanta's kind of been right in the middle in terms of offense, maybe lower in the league in a sense. But from a DVOA perspective, which takes into account, obviously, the teams you've played, the situations in the games and that type of thing, they actually don't look all that terrible, right? Ranked 13th offensively, 13th in the pass, and then 8th in the rush. Las Vegas, on the other hand, we know that they've been kind of a dumpster fire, right? Look at them in the last 3 games. 16.3 points per game. I say that and chuckle, but it's like Atlanta's actually 3 points behind them, which is crazy. But overall, they've been passing a lot, but that's because they've been down. They've had to throw it, right? 6th most passing yards, but the 4th in terms of passing frequency, so this kind of correlate. Rushing, they're just not getting anything done. So overall, we do have 2 teams here that, 1, haven't had the best years, 2, definitely not firing on all cylinders right now. Where the heck do we go in this game, right? And I think the only logical sort of point that I can arrive at is the fact that this Atlanta team, I just believe has, I guess I would say, other than Brock Bowers, this Atlanta team just has more talent. Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, London, Mooney, McLeod, Pitts, I think I'm going to have to trust them, even on the defensive side, right? With Simmons, Bates, some of those guys in the secondary and whatnot. I think they're just a more talented team, so I end up leaning towards Atlanta minus the 5. No Max Crosby in this one, right? So it's literally going to be Desmond Ridder. McCormick is the new back that they're playing, right? They have Brock Bowers. This just is not a very good Raiders team. And I know that 5 points to a Falcons team here seems like it could be a lot because everyone's so low on Kirk Cousins. I mean, over the last few weeks, he has literally looked terrible, but how can he not step up in this spot, right? Think about Las Vegas against the quarterback this year. They have not looked all that tremendous, which we'll talk player props in just a second. But if Kirk Cousins has a bad game, then yeah, I think he's just chalked. What are we doing here? See you later, right? But this should be a spot for him to bounce back. And I already mentioned sort of the gauntlet that they've had to go through, right? They played Denver, the Chargers, then Minnesota. These are all very good defenses. When they were kind of firing and playing well, that was against Carolina, Tampa Bay. They played Dallas. They played Tampa Bay again. When they face a not so great secondary, Kirk Cousins should be able to do okay. So I hope that that's the case here if we do ultimately end up rolling as a final play with the Falcons minus the 5 points. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are we sold on Kirk? Is he done? Or I guess, are you liking a bounce back spot for him? Because I'm predicting a bounce back from Kirk, but based on what he's shown us, it's not exactly the easiest thing to be comfortable with saying out loud. Last week, yes, the Vikings put up 21 points. There's no way they're beating Minnesota, right? Because they Sam Darnold went off, even Aaron Jones with his own touchdown too. 42 points from them. Kirk Cousins threw for 344. You're like, oh, that's pretty good, right? 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not the best look there, and they were throwing all game long. So obviously he's gonna have a lot of yards. So I'm buying in on the Kirk bounce back spot here. Give me the Falcons minus the points. I also don't mind in terms of a total here. It's kind of scary, but I'd lean towards the Falcons team total over. Even if Kirk doesn't have a great game, I think they can get to 23, 24, plus points. This Raiders team, the defense isn't all that great, right? Like, that's kind of what I'm hanging my hat on, hoping that Kirk bounces back, hoping this offense looks okay. In terms of the Vegas Raiders, 28 last week, Tampa Bay, 19, okay, that was the Black Friday game, right, to Chiefs. I give them credit for that one. Before that, 39 to Denver, 34 to Miami, 41 to Cincinnati, 27 to Kansas City. Then they played the Rams, who I believe one was a 20 to 15, yep. And then Pittsburgh 32, Denver scored 34. Like, even the Browns put up 18 on them. Like, this is 16, whatever it was. It's not a great defense. Atlanta does have the skill position talent to put up a lot of points. So screw it, we're going Atlanta team total over. Maybe a slight lean towards the over, but I really don't want to rely on the Raiders to kind of contribute to their part. You know what I mean? So probably just considering Atlanta in that spot. Now, we do have a couple player prop spots that I like. They kind of correlate to some degree as well in terms of game script. But before we do that, I'll talk to you about player prop specific here, a DFS app. If you don't know it, you got to go check it out. Underdog, guys, free pick for Kirk Cousins. Even if we just commented, I just ask you to comment about your thoughts on Kirk Cousins, right? Even if you said, I think he's chalked, I think he's done, 0.5 total yards. Tell me the guy can't get 0.5 total yards, 1 yard, and we cash this free pick over an Underdog. I think that's the move there. So first player prop, Kirk Cousins over 0.5 total yards. But guys, you want access to the square? That link is going to be in the pinned comment as well as the description. I'll also put it with the final plays over on the Guy Boston Sports site if that is easiest as well. You're also going to get up to $1,000 in a deposit bonus, which is absolutely crazy from Underdog. Go ahead and check it out. All you do is pick higher or lower based on player set projections. You put them into a slip. The more you get correct in there, the more you get paid out. Very, very simple, super easy to get in there, and then you just have more action on the game, and it's really, really fun. Go check out Underdog, guys. That link will be down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. But like I said, we do have a couple player props here. And we're starting off with the man of the hour, Kirk Cousins, like his over 1.5 passing touchdowns. If we flip it over and look at quarterbacks against this Raiders team as of late, right here, I know my camera's blocking the picture, but Baker Mayfield throws for 3. Mahomes, that was the Black Friday game. He only threw for 1. But if you watch that game, he had plenty of opportunities. Bo Nix, 2. Tua Tagovailoa, 3. Joe Burrow threw for 5. Patrick Mahomes, 2 last time they played them. Bo Nix threw for 2. Earlier in the year, Andy freaking Dalton threw for 3 against this team. So I really do think Kirk Cousins can get back on the horse here. He has not thrown a damn touchdown pass in 4 weeks. I like this spot for him. I've looked at his yards, but I think the books are respecting the fact that this is a bad secondary. 247 yards. His attempts are at 32. Like, I lose the value there. Maybe considering 21.5, but if I think this is going to be an Atlanta game, worries me to some degree to say, hey, Kirk, go throw for a lot, right? Like, hell, he could throw for 2 damn passes. They're both passing touchdowns, and we cash this one versus he'd need to complete 22 balls. So I'd consider completions, but I do think I'm kind of staking my claim here on Kirk Cousins over 1.5. Now, a spot that I also think is worth buying low, maybe this is also crazy. In fact, I'll sound the psycho alert alarm because Kyle Pitts looked amazing a few weeks back, and he's just looked dreadful ever since the Falcons have looked dreadful. So both of these kind of correlate in the sense that if the Falcons keep doing what they're doing, see you later, take a couple big L's on the forehead, right? If they do bounce back, I think both of these guys are the most primed to bounce back. Like, even Drake London has been playing fairly well, right? Like, he didn't have the craziest game last week, but the week before, like, I think that there are guys on this team that have been playing well even though they've struggled. Kyle Pitts and Kirk Cousins are the 2 guys that have struggled with the team. So I like Kyle Pitts here. You can see Vegas secondary, okay, 19th in terms of receiving yards allowed. You flip it to tight ends, the 3rd most in the season, allowing an average of 67.2 yards per game to the tight end. We flip it over here. Let's take a peek at tight ends versus Las Vegas, right? 3 columns to focus on here. So here are the tight ends. We have receptions, receiving yards, and then touchdown. Okay, so these 3 on the right. Receptions, yards, touchdowns. Cade Otton, 3 for 70 last week. Travis Kelce, 7 for 78. Even Noah Gray went for 4 for 58. You have Jonnu Smith tore them up, 6 for 100. A few weeks back, you had Mike Gesicki here, 5 for 100, 10 for 90 from Travis Kelce. Like, this is a spot in which we're only asking for 29 yards from Kyle Pitts. My concern is that, is he even getting quality targets? Look at this. So he has 11 targets over the last few weeks, only 2 receptions here. Are these quality spots? Is he getting bad looks? Potentially, but I'm hoping Kirk has a better pocket carved out for him, and Kyle Pitts can kind of catch some of those, streak passes that he catches down the middle, which would be very, very nice. You could see down here in terms of quarterback hurry, hits, and sacks, this shouldn't be a Raiders team that gets to Kirk. So I like Kyle Pitts' chances to kind of get down the field. It's a guy that on the season, right, is averaging over 15 yards for his longest reception. And his longest reception, he's averaging 21.2. So he's catching long balls this year, whether it's catch and run like he likes to do, like I mentioned, that sort of right over the middle seam route, that type of thing that he'll catch for, say, 10 yards in the air and then he goes. There hasn't been time for that play to develop as much recently against Denver, against the Chargers, against Minnesota. So I'm hoping this is going to be a spot in which he's able to go out there and say, hey, give me the ball, Kirk Cousins, you have a better game, and we're off to the races. I know, I'll sound it again. Might be kind of crazy to take the two low guys on the totem pole here, but I think it's a bounce back spot for them. Let me know what you guys are rolling with down in the comments. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 10 because you made it 10 minutes in the video, and I do thank you very much. But yeah, to summarize, Falcons, I like their team total over as well. That 5 points is kind of fishy. I would put this at like 6.5, which is interesting, but -5, their team total. Then I like Kirk and Kyle Pitts in bounce back spots. Keep an eye on the final plays over on the Guy Boston site. And that's all for me in this one, guys. Make sure to go check out the Vikings and Bears video as well. We'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.